The Death Star. That thing's operational.
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
Hello and welcome to episode 159 of The Usual Podcast. The podcast where we discuss Star Wars: The Old Republic, the Star Wars franchise, and geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall, and with me is my co-host this week, one Mr. Nick Bright. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad you're back too, man, and we'll get into why you're back here. In fact, just tell us why you're here. Why are you here tonight, dude?
Well, I'm actually here tonight because, one, Mr. Will is out sick once again. So, Will, I know you're listening to this, so get well soon. Thank you for letting me fill in with you, and, you know,
yeah,
I just hope the best for you in this little illness that has caught you and kind of got you by the tails right now.
Yeah, man, and it sucks, but the show must go on, and honestly, I did not want to not do a show. That's a terrible sentence for a writer. I didn't want to not do a show this month. We are coming back from San Diego Comic-Con, which it actually works out that you are here, my friend Nick. It's because you were with us at San Diego Comic-Con. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get into some of the awesome news that came out of D23.
And me being here has nothing to do with the fact that we have another podcast together, that we're recording a show tonight as well.
That may or may not be the case.
It may be 100% the factor. Guilty there.
Guilty. Indeed. So before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Potts on Twitter, and Nick is at Bright Inks. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Plex, and all the social medias. So let us know what you like. Sorry, we've been away for a while, but we're back. Sort of. Maybe. We're back this week. So that's that. I don't know what else to say. We have this
and limbo.
Yeah, we're trying to get out of limbo, but I mean, it is what it is, man. Almost 5 years of doing this show. If you're still listening, we love you. Thank you. We'll try to get to more consistent, as the weeks go on. So, we have the timestamps in the show notes. If you're not a SWTOR fan, we are not going to spend much time on that this week. But that's okay. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about Star Wars and Marvel wise. That's pretty much what our focus is going to be this week, my friend. Especially Star Wars.
Well, I'm actually really excited because everything you just named has crossed all paths of my friend circles.
Yeah. And we'll get into that here in a minute too, because we do another show together called Just Keep Writing. We were going to record another episode this evening. What is it? Episode 19, I believe.
Whoa, episode 19.
Right?
Record it on the 29th.
You know what's funny? I looked on our iTunes for the usual. This is our 180th episode.
Whoa.
On iTunes. So that's something, right? So that said, we are here
for 200.
It's a good thing, dude, and I'm pretty excited about it. But honestly, man, I'm glad you are here because we do the other podcast. Like I said, we have a Discord channel that goes along with it. The best part about it is our friends and our listeners jump in and talk about things. And what have we been talking about this week, dude?
Well, our other podcast has been a plethora of things. We may or may not have started some type of, it's not an argument, but a very in-depth discussion where no one actually agreed with each other, but everyone was still very respectful of the other person's opinion and their stance and where they're coming from.
And not only that was awesome, and then we started talking about Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. And we learned how to use spoiler tags in Discord.
Well, because somebody said something about R2-D2, and quick spoilers, someone said something about R2-D2 in our chat, and I was like, I haven't watched it yet. And I'm like, for future reference, let's use the spoiler tags. In fact, we should just start a spoiler channel. So we'll probably do that in the future.
So here's my takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know people needed spoiler tags and spoiler warnings for trailers.
You're not a true geek, my friend. If you're not the first person to watch it, you don't want to spoil it for other people. You want to experience that trailer as is, my friend.
My friend.
Yeah.
It is also a trailer, and you living on the West Coast should know this, that if you haven't seen it by 6 a.m. or right when you first wake up,
right,
it's spoiled. It's like milk. You just kind of wake up, smell it, and you're like, ugh.
Well, also,
Shit, what was that?
The milk, oh god. I don't do a lot of scrolling on the social medias anymore because I am afraid of that and I don't want to spoil something ahead of time. So I kind of pick and choose what I get notifications from and stuff. But one thing we forgot to mention, my friend, is we are sitting here enjoying our usual frosty beverages.
Yes.
What are you drinking, sir?
So tonight, because it's like later on my side and I want to go to bed at a decent hour, I've got root beer. But I'm using my special commemorative mug, glass, if you will, from when I was in the military. It has my unit I was with and the historical lineage of everywhere that unit has ever been in.
Badass. I love it.
So it's got a very special meaning for me. So
nice, dude. Thank you for that. And thank you for your service, of course.
Thank you for your support.
That's a pretty cool glass, dude. And what some people are going to notice about this, and I am drinking, before I get into that, I'm drinking Brother Thelonious. It is back at North Coast Brewing Company, about a mile from me. It is a delicious Belgian style Abbey Ale, and I love it. And I'm going to sip on this throughout 2 podcasts. Maybe it'll last to the end of this one, and then I'm getting something else. But the one thing I want...
That's not an IPA?
It is okay, let me just tell you. It's not an IPA. It is a Belgian Abbey style ale, but it is 9.4%. It is beautiful, warm, or cold, or just whenever you want it. And so basically I'm just going to nurse this bad boy for a while, and I'll be feeling pretty good by the end of this, buddy. You're welcome.
Hey. You already know what kind of mood I'm in.
I know. We've been chatting for a while already. So one thing you're going to notice about this episode is we are not doing this live. And when Will comes back, we'll get back on Twitch and do that. But Nick and I do not record Just Keep Riding live, and I didn't feel like throwing that component tonight because he is stepping in kind of last minute. So that is the story with the evening.
Don't sugarcoat it. My background's a mess, aka my room.
Well, his room is a literal disaster. So we're just gonna pretend that's.
You buy a new dresser and you got to put it together yourself. You're like, yeah, I can do this. And then you realize it came in 2 150-pound boxes each. And then you're like, oh, shit. And then you take it apart out of the boxes and even more continue to go, oh, shit.
Mm. Well, my friend.
So, yes.
I think you're amazing. And I'm okay without doing this live for once. And let's get into Star Wars The Old Republic. It's going to be super quick, okay? How you feel?
Yeah, no, it works for me. I have so much to say about it, actually.
I know you do. And that's why I'm actually very interested to talk to you about this. So really quick, this is our first episode back from San Diego Comic-Con. We had our PUCT 4 Cantina, which was a great success as always. We talked about this on our other show. We had the developers come in at the end of our cantina. There were 6 of them that came in. We had Fred and Charles Boyd and Eric Musco and a bunch of people come in, and it was absolutely awesome to sit around and talk with them. The recording, as you probably noticed, has not shown up in your feeds yet. We put the live stream of the Twitch recording on last month's show, and that's mostly because I didn't feel the editing of that was going to be a hot nightmare, and the whole thing kind of deteriorated around me, and I just feel like in its pure form, you can see why I decided not to edit that. So that's where we're at with that. You were there. How do you feel?
That night was crazy.
It was crazy.
100%.
But before you get too deep into that though, real quick, huge thanks to Zen, who, I'm going to encourage not to do this again next year, but, had the capacity to have an open bar of sorts, for our people. And I love that you give us money every year, Zen. It was great. But yeah, we took advantage of that this year and it got kind of crazy. So, anyway, going back to what were your thoughts on the night, dude?
Okay. Anyone who came up dressed in cosplay, thank you. I don't know if you guys are listening to the show or you even hear this thank you, but I just want to say thank you because it brought some realism to a game that's been out for so long.
Right.
For
and are you talking about Friday
into.
night or Saturday night? Saturday night.
The Cantina event.
Yeah, that's the Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
The SWTOR Cantina. Yes, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was great. some of you may not know, but now everyone's going to know that I actually don't play SWTOR, or did, up until about 3 weeks ago. So yeah, that event was actually really fun. The community is awesome. There was a lot of great people that were from the SWTOR community partners, like you said, with Eric Musco and everything. So loved catching up with them and getting to talk to them. Very personable people. And it was weird because even though they're just community managers in a sense, like people were still fangirling over them. So I was like, I love this.
Yeah, it was great, dude. So both events were kind of amazing, I think. Our event at PUCT on Friday night, we rode scooters down there. That was badass. That was so much fun.
Ah, yes.
We rode the scooters down to Mission Brewing Company. So big shout out to Mission Brewing Company for hosting us yet again. That was the 4th time we've done it there. And it was a blast. But Saturday night was pretty amazing. We got to meet, the, editor of BioWare, Karen, and her husband. Her husband wasn't there, but her husband writes for Dragon Age. And we got to really have a nice night with the developers, and Eric Musco and them are super nice. I want to give a shout out to Swtorista and Kid-Lee as well for helping with trying to get that cantina out. I think ultimately Elise got some of the cantina out on her feed, but it's all out there now about Onslaught and stuff. Obviously this is old news, but I just like to give a shout out to the community, Elise, Jesse, and Steve, Will, and Nick, everybody who was there. Thank you. Everybody who was there. It was phenomenal. And Ray, of course, and Redna, and everybody else who was there. It was just phenomenal. Oh, don't let me forget Matt and Halima, and, I'm forgetting other people probably, but overall, super great. And, yeah, man, I can't wait to go again next year. That might be my last year going to San Diego. It kind of depends on how, all these writing things go, which we'll talk about. So, in our other show.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
So PUCT may be turning into a writing event.
All right, man. So shout out to our drinking buddies, of course, Eddie and Zen, and of course, Mr. John Skeen. And really quick as well, the community cantina, just as far as news goes, there is going to be a community cantina in New York, obviously to talk about Onslaught. And that is going to be happening October 4th. That's a Friday outside of New York Comic Con. So definitely check that out. If you liked anything that we said about the amount of hundreds of people that showed up for that event in San Diego. It was insane. I never got swag from that event. I got to reach out to Musco to get swag from that event.
I remember because they were putting the swag bags together.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to have plenty for everyone.
Right.
And then all of a
we'll
sudden,
get it later. We'll get it later.
They didn't expect to run out. And I think almost double the amount of people showed up than expected.
Yeah.
And like, it was one of their larger events in the last few years. So
it was crazy, man. And it was great to see people turn out, and I'm hoping a lot more people got turned on to the game, including you. You played it at SWTOR a little bit. Which
did.
I'm proud of you. So I think we've talked about all the things except one last piece of news. The official release date for Onslaught has been released, and that is coming out on October 22nd. So it actually makes sense. They're going to do the New York Cantina, beginning of October, and then, the official launch of the new expansion will be October 22nd. Here we are.
Exciting.
It is exciting.
Very exciting.
All right, man. Anything else? We got to get into this other stuff.
Oh, there's so much other stuff to get into, but you know, it's your show. I'm here for the side commentary.
Is there
and
something
jokes.
else you want to say about SWTOR or San Diego or anything before we move on?
No, I got nothing.
All right, man. So let's get into the Star Wars section. The first thing we have to talk about is that this is important. Rian Johnson, as we know, is going to be tackling the next Star Wars trilogy, right? Post Episode 9. And what he came out and said, and I'm curious to see what you think about this.
Okay.
He is not going to include any legacy characters in his new trilogy. So he's basically saying he's not going to bring, I thought he was talking about bringing in Legends characters, like from the old, expanded universe stuff. What he's saying is he's not going to bring in legacy characters like the people from the original trilogies.
Correct.
What do you think about that?
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Although, the title alone, Rise of the Skywalker,
Yeah, but that's not his movie, though. That's JJ.
It's not. And it is JJ's. But we all know Disney runs this world.
I know. So, it's interesting. He says, so what he says, I know the way I'm coming at it, and what's fun about it for everyone in George Lucas's films is figuring out what's the next step. It really makes you think and figure out what the essence of Star Wars is for me and what it looks like moving forward. So, he's obviously going to be working on, he says we're doing something that steps beyond the legacy characters. So obviously that's what episode 9 is supposed to do, is close out the Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, right? That's going to be done. So what does that look like going forward for the Star Wars universe? Who knows? But Rian Johnson's in charge and he's got 3 movies to do it. So see what he comes up with. Any thoughts?
I'm ready to be done with the Skywalkers. Oh, there I said it. Because I think there's so many better stories to be told. And I think it's one of those things that I like the idea of this newest trilogy coming out and like cameos and stuff like that. But I think it's too heavily played on the older characters, the legacy characters, if you will. Right. And they have too much influence over the storyline. So, yeah. And so I wanted something new. And I personally didn't get that.
Well, I think what you're saying is if we get a new trilogy and there's like all these cameos from characters we know, they're going to take the center stage because that's what people are kind of looking for. If he says, okay, I'm starting a new story, and think about it, the way that the expanded universe, if you look at it and the way George Lucas obviously envisioned it, is this is a huge galaxy to be explored and one family can't overshadow everything for going forward. And I think what's important about some of the stuff we're going to be talking about with Disney Plus and what Marvel and Disney is going to be doing, I think this makes a lot of sense. We got to move forward. You know, we're losing. Yeah. We've already lost, obviously, spoilers. Han Solo is gone. Luke is gone. Quote unquote. We don't know. Spoilers. Right. Spoilers.
Allegedly.
Carrie Fisher is actually passed on. So, I mean,
yeah,
these are the big 3. And so moving forward, granted, you know, Lando's going to be in episode 9. Great. But he's, you know, these characters have aged. It's been, 40 years or something? 30 years? It's been a long time. I don't do math well, obviously, but it's been a long time, and I think it's time to move on. And I love the characters from the latest trilogy, like Finn, and
Poe Dameron's a great character.
Poe Dameron is one of my favorites. I love him. And I think we're going to get some of those stories told in the in some of the TV shows and the stuff they're going to do with Disney Plus. So I think that's a good transition because that's all I want to talk about. That was strictly Star Wars news. Now, what I want to do is do a hybrid Disney D23 Marvel section for the last part of the show, which is the usual roundup. I'm putting everything together. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, cool. Kick ass. Did you see the poster?
Which poster though?
Dude, the Rise of the Skywalker poster.
No.
Dude. So click on that link in the usual roundup, the first one. Look at that bad boy.
Well, let me
do it.
Wait a minute.
So what we're talking about now is some of the stuff that came out of D23. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see it. So D23 happened. It is the big Disney Expo, and they revealed a bunch of Star Wars stuff, a bunch of Marvel stuff, and we're going to be talking all about that, and including a new trailer for The Mandalorian and a new trailer for, sort of a trailer for Rise of Skywalker. What do you think of that trailer, dude? Or the poster?
And this is, so I like it, right?
Right. You get the Emperor looming over the background. You have Rey and Kylo in the foreground, the blue and the red. I don't know.
Oh man, I have so much. I said it. I don't think this latest trilogy is done all that well.
You don't think so?
No. Mainly for the purpose of they're relying on nostalgia to run this series when they didn't have to do that.
Well, I think that's what Rian Johnson did, honestly. I think Rian Johnson made the concerted effort to go away from JJ, who paid a lot of fan service and really stuck to the hero's journey and really made a great film with The Force Awakens. I really like that film. Okay.
Loved it.
I love that film. I really like The Last Jedi in that they went away from some of the traditional tropes. It was a good middle film. There was some flaws with it, obviously, but I think I like the fact that they went different directions with what you thought they were going to do with Rey and all of that. I think JJ is going to bring it back, and he has to close up, and I think that's why the trailer, which we're going to lead into in here in a second, I think the trailer, it does a really good job of bringing everything together. The prequels, the original trilogy, the latest trilogy, and say, okay, this is where we're at now, and then leave us with something to think about at the end with Rey. And the spoilers, by the way, if you don't want any spoilers, don't listen anymore.
Freaking spoiler alert.
3, 2, 1, spoilers. You have been warned. With Rey at the end, with what we think is Rey at the end, with the double-bladed, what I'm thinking of is the switchblade lightsaber. I mean, it looks out like, okay, so think about this. How amazing was it when I went to see episode 1, and when Darth Maul stood up there, and he extended, he had one blade that came out, because that's all you saw, and then he ignites the other one. Like, how crazy was a double-bladed lightsaber back then? Now they're doing double-bladed, but also can be, a fork? A giant fork?
So for those that haven't seen it, what it is 2 lightsabers side by side.
Yeah, side by side, like
and
a couple inches apart.
They're connected by a hinge at the bottom. So she lights them up, and one folds down,
right?
Very cool, and it locks into place
and turns into a double-bladed lightsaber.
The only thing I can think of is nothing.
Okay,
dude, I really got nothing on this one, because unless it does for typical martial weapons and stuff like that. I got nothing.
I don't either.
Especially with a lightsaber.
This is going towards the how do you want to say it? The fantasy weapons. Basically, this is the space opera part, obviously. I mean, this isn't science fiction. This is more effect. It's more like the Darth Maul thing. I don't know how practical a double-bladed lightsaber is to wield. I'm going to say impractical, considering the fact that if you screw up even a little bit, you're losing a half a leg. But,
that's what training's for.
Well, I get it. But it also makes a lot of sense for Rey to wield a double-bladed lightsaber, period, because of her proficiency with the staff from Force Awakens. Okay, that said, why
couldn't she just have?
Why does she have a red lightsaber? Why
is she dressed in black?
She looks like she's turned to the dark side. Now, there are theories out there, and I'm not one of those people that dive into online theories because I hate it. So I like to form my own theories and talk to my friends. So you and I have talked about the fact that maybe she's a clone.
Yes.
And we also know from the EU that the Emperor dabbled in cloning. Obviously, we also have the Clone War, right? We have all this evidence that it could be a clone. I like the idea. Are we throwing out theories? Is that where we're at right now? So I'm just going to okay, that's right.
Continue.
Okay, thanks, buddy. So what I'm thinking more along the lines of is kind of a Luke in the cave, Darth Vader moment where the Emperor is trying to turn her and show her what she can be, or there's some sort of visions being pushed upon her, or do you see where I'm going with this? It's like, this is how powerful you can become, and it's like the Emperor and Kylo trying to manipulate her. Maybe it's a clone doing the actions, but also look what you could be, kind of thing. Or they made this thing, whatever this is, this clone, to fight her, right? And then she has to fight this thing. So, I don't know. Those are my theories. What else you got?
A couple. My personal favorite is that it is a clone, just because it's been so throughout everything. Palpatine's back.
Right.
Darth Vader's back.
Right.
Or at least the sounds of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Kylo has been obsessed with Darth Vader for how long?
Oh, yeah.
What if one shred of DNA from that helmet can bring Darth Vader back?
And so...
Yeah. I don't know. The Rey thing, though, I will say, that might be a tool to manipulate Kylo to further him into the dark side by Palpatine by saying, I will replace you with her. She will be better.
So
she's more like Vader than you.
I actually like that better. I actually like the fact that she might be a vision forced upon Kylo to make sure that he stays to the dark side. Because we know he waffles a little bit, and what I don't want, and I'm very vocal.
Waffles a little bit.
I know. And I was being obviously a little facetious, but the point is, dude, is that I think that that Kylo, in his waffling, I've said very vocally, I do not want him to be redeemed. He's gonna fall, and he's gonna fall to the dark side fully and be destroyed. That's what I want. Because I feel like to serve the story, that has to happen. I don't want to see a redemption story for him. What I'm really interested in seeing is how they push him to stay to the dark side, and Rey giving up on him, and that's, I don't know. I like a darker story. I don't know if JJ is going to go there, and I have the feeling JJ's not going to go there.
No, I don't think so either.
Am I delusional?
No, but what?
I like that you said no. That's cute.
You're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I have hopes, man. My hope is that Kylo he lost his chance when he killed his father. I want that to be the moment.
He didn't kill him. He did not kill him.
Are you kidding me? He did not kill his own father?
Who do you... Dude, let's rewatch that scene together sometime. He does not trigger the lightsaber. Han does. Because Han knows what he has to do.
No way, dude.
Dude.
No way.
It's Han freaking Solo. He's not going to go out like a little bitch.
No,
that dude, that dude straight up was like, I know what you have to do. I understand.
No, he says,
you're my
I know
son.
what I
trust
have to do.
Dude, I'm telling you, Han did it on purpose. Han walked into that knowing what was going to happen.
Tell me Han committed suicide right now?
Han placed his hand on Kylo's.
True.
And pressed that trigger to activate that lightsaber.
So, either way, his moment, Kylo's moment was right there.
Kylo did not kill him. Kylo was forced to by his own father, which means emotionally, morally, and whatever the midichlorians decide, he did not fully commit that murder. Which means he's not too far gone.
Okay. Let's agree to disagree on that point. Let's say, for example, all I'm saying, whoever pressed the button, because it's hard to say who pressed that button, I can acknowledge that. But the way the scene plays out and the look on his face, he had a choice in that moment. His choice was to stay with his dad, dark side, or light side, let his father die, or kill his father, and go the dark side. He chose the latter. So at this point, that was his moment.
Or
I want to say that was his last ditch effort to be good.
But that's false, because in the second episode in the saga, or in the trilogy, he doesn't shoot down his mom's plane because he knows she's on there.
I know, but
he cannot fully commit to the dark side.
Right.
And that is what's causing him trouble. And the connection to Rey is going to exploit that.
We'll
Dream
see.
Theory? Dream Theory.
Dream Theory. Ooh, good episode name. Dream Theory. So I, honestly, dude, I think that I would like to see, I don't know. I would really like to see them follow through with a villain tale where, and this is a very Disney thing, the villain gets his just desserts at the end or whatever and is killed because he stood for the wrong thing. I think that with the Emperor in play, I don't think Kylo's going to be able to come back from that. He's learned. No, but think about it. Think about what happened. He let Vader.
I was just clearing my throat.
Yeah, I know. So he let Vader turn and kill him. Do you think he's going to let that happen again? Right? He watched whatever Snoke's story is. He watched that happen as well. Right? As soon as you let your guard down, that's it. If he's actually back, there's no scenario where the Emperor lets that happen again. Rey is going to have to strike him down and stand up against him. I don't think he's going to let Kylo turn against him at the last minute and let that happen again like he let Vader do it.
But who says Palpatine is now the new leader?
He's always been there, I think.
He's always been
the leader. He's always been pulling the strings. Always. I guarantee that's where they're going to go.
Kylo will not be his apprentice. It doesn't make any sense. And
why not? Because his grandfather was his apprentice.
Right. But his grandfather was weak because he turned away from the dark
And
side.
what does Kylo want the least? To be looked at as weak. So he's going to try to prove himself to the Emperor. The most powerful being in the universe. Or in the galaxy.
But if Palpatine couldn't keep Vader to the dark side, why would Kylo go there?
I don't know.
He wants to distance himself. Oh, okay, so I understand.
This is not going to be a half an hour, by the way.
No. So this is my dream theory.
Oh, dream theory. Go.
Okay. Darth Maul comes back with Kira as an apprentice. Palpatine shows up because he's been controlling everything on the back end, right? Rey and Kylo, because Kylo thinks he's a master himself, will not submit to apprenticeship to anyone. They somehow
try to take the Emperor's place.
He's going to try to kill everyone because that's just kind of how he is.
Yeah,
which is great. It's fine. But I think what's going to trigger a Rey and Kylo team is they're going to find out they're twins, and that Luke wiped out people's memories, so no one could remember. And now that Luke is a Force ghost, boom, visions from the Force. He's going to have to reveal that truth. It's the only thing that's going to connect Rey and Kylo to stand up against Palpatine and Darth Maul and Kira.
Dream theory. Are you ready for my version of that?
Also, Kylo and Rey right off in the Tatooine sunset.
Okay.
Not holding hands, but victorious and start their own Grey Jedi.
I think, okay, first of all, they're never going to do the Grey Jedi thing. I can tell you that right now.
Dumbest shit ever. They need to.
Well, and you know why, right? It's because, well, George Lucas never really thought of anything more than a binary deal. It's always been light and dark, right?
Well,
so I think he's
not George Lucas anymore.
What? No, I get that, but that was the impetus of this whole thing. Good versus evil, right? So I think having it end up in the middle is a little bit whatever. But
it plays into what's been going on with Yoda, right? Mm-hmm. With Luke being like, our time's over.
Well, and I would argue that Qui-Gon was about as close as we're going to get to a Grey Jedi. He was always back and forth, you know, and he was always kind of playing the...
But he still had to follow the order.
Right.
And the rules of the order.
He did, but then he broke the rules all the time.
Yeah, but...
Because he didn't believe wholeheartedly.
Rey and Kylo can start their own thing now.
I agree. I think that Rey is going to be, and I'm going to say it right now, is going to be either related to the Emperor himself in some way, shape, or form, or my super dream theory is that it's going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what I'm staying with that still.
Like the granddaughter of Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Okay. That I might be able to believe. But at the same time, well, I mean,
think about it.
Because he had to
keep. She doesn't know who her parents are. It's been a little bit removed. You know, it's there's enough time has passed to where, you know, I mean, look, I'm a teacher, dude. Things happen in kids' lives all the time. You know,
right.
And like if he had a kid and then they had a kid and then, you know what I'm saying? Like there's one generation of removal from the beginning, and what would be really cool is if Disney tied it in to, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, the announcement of a Obi-Wan Kenobi series that happens in between episodes 6 and 7. Sorry, episode 3 and 4, right?
Yeah, I can see that. The only thing I would have a hard time wrapping my brain around is the simple fact that, you know, like legitimately what happened to Rey's parents? Why is she an orphan? Like they'd have to explain that in some way, and everyone's gonna know who the hermit was in the mountains.
I have a feeling they're gonna come up with something very similar to Vader's or Anakin's birth, where I just don't know. And I think that's gonna be tied into the Emperor. That's my Emperor theory is she just was kind of not popped into existence, but sort of was born from the Force on the dark side from him, right? And Anakin was born the same way, right?
But going back to the mitochondrions, they're not good or bad. They're just there.
Right. So the Force every once in a while has an immaculate conception, and then let's see where it falls in the balance, right?
Yeah, but
who's manipulating those as well? So Anakin was
would
fortunate to meet Qui-Gon and was fortunate to fall in with Padme and fall in love with Padme, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then he eventually was consumed.
Here's also the story that if Qui-Gon never met Anakin, none of that would have happened and we'd never have Vader.
True. So what about Broom Boy? Remember Broom Boy? The guy who, at the end of The Last Jedi, the little kid who pulls the broom towards him with the Force because, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So think about things like that. Like, there's all kinds of anomalies out there, right? But, like, who picks up these kids and who fosters these kids, you know?
Oh, and who finds them? Right. Or, like, how does the Jedi find them? I don't know. It just... I don't want to see Rey being an immaculate conception because it's like, again, go back to the original.
Right.
Fucking seen it.
Give
me something real.
I would like to see something new. I would like, and I would also like, I want it to kind of, and I imagine, because if you look at from episode 1 through 8, okay, the very beginning, the most manipulative person in the universe is Palpatine. You have Palpatine manipulate everything through episode 6, and then he dies, right? I like to think he was still somewhere back, maybe behind Snoke, behind Kylo, behind everything, and he's still there somehow, just like he does in the EU back in the day, right? Or a version of him. But once we get to episode 9, that whole storyline is also closed up. Why is the Emperor back? Right? Why does that make sense for the story, you know?
Yeah, no, so to include, if you're gonna go that route, you have to include Solo, and you have to include that other one that I can't think of the name.
Rogue One?
Yeah, you have to include Rogue One as well, and those story arcs that developed out of that as well. Which is why I always go back to freaking Darth Maul and Kira.
Right.
Although, wait. Question.
Okay.
Did Kira have the Force at all?
Not that I know.
What if Grey's the daughter of Kira?
Well,
concepted by Palpatine, because that fits the timeline there.
I don't know, man.
Fits age gaps.
I don't know, man. I think our dream theories have been heard by the ether. I'm sure we'll get some feedback from this, and you can send every piece of hate mail to @BrightInks on Twitter. I'm just kidding.
Go for it.
I'm just kidding.
Read it.
I'm totally joking. No, but
I'm very opinionated with Star Wars.
But let's move on a little bit and talk about The Mandalorian. Are you excited about The Mandalorian series at all?
I cannot be more excited if I tried.
Right?
Like, I have a day job that pays my bills, because if I wasn't, I'd walk around as a Mandalorian all day.
So November 12th, Disney Plus. This is going to launch pretty much launch with the app. It is November. I think it's November 12th. We're going to get the first episode of The Mandalorian. The trailer dropped at D23 as well. Holy crap, the visuals and the awesome that goes along with The Mandalorian. Are you kidding me?
The Disney alone will... they're going to destroy the market if they can keep producing quality TV shows that look like movies each episode.
And that is an amazing segue into kind of what we're going to be talking about for the rest of this show, which won't take too long, but we're going to cover the D23 news about TV shows via, Star Wars and Marvel. But The Mandalorian, man, I can't even tell you, like, we also have Rogue One to think about, the Rogue One prequel with the Cassian character. It was confirmed that Alan Tudyk is coming back as K2SO. And it's, oh my God, dude, it's going to be insane. If they keep this quality of TV show up and the announcements I'm going to talk about in a minute that Marvel wise, there will be nowhere else to go regardless.
I'm already I won't actually get rid of Hulu, but I will consider getting rid of Netflix.
Well, and look, there are some really amazing Netflix original shows. I'm a big fan of Black Mirror. I'm a big fan of Russian Doll. I'm a big fan of Altered Carbon. I'm a big fan of
season 2 announced Anthony Mackie.
What is it? Stranger Things. I mean, there are some phenomenal shows that come out of Netflix, and there will be going forward.
Right.
But if you have original TV around Marvel and Star Wars, are you kidding me? Like, you have two of the biggest franchises, and then they're throwing in, by the way, Nat Geo, all of their old movies, animated movies and TV shows and stuff. It's going to be kind of amazing. So, Mandalorian, I'm amped about. Holy crap! If you haven't seen that trailer, there's a link in the show notes. The visuals alone, just with the stormtrooper helmets on the pikes to start with. Are you kidding me,
dude?
That sets the tone, right?
For sure.
So before we get into all the Disney Plus stuff, there's a couple things I want to talk about really quick. Galaxy's Edge, Rise of the Resistance. There are opening dates finally announced for that, and I'm excited about it. I would like to go when that actually launches. I'm going to go back to Disneyland, I hope. But it is confirmed. It is going to happen in Disney World on December 5th and Disneyland on January 17th. And this is one of the most ambitious ride systems ever conceived. So we'll see if they pull it off. I really hope they do. Cause if they pull it off, it's going to be something to behold, honestly. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that.
Love it.
All right, buddy. We got to get into this. So let's back up just a little bit, and I'm going to talk about I'm leaving Pocket. Yes, I got it. I want to talk about the 8 things we learned from Star Wars Disney Plus Showcase. Okay. So we've already talked about this. This is on StarWars.com. I have a link in the show notes, and I put this link in here just because to keep everything concise. Okay. So Obi-Wan, they brought Ewan McGregor out with Kathleen Kennedy, and I wish I was there in that moment because Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor has been waiting, dude. Waiting to be able to do this role again. And he was They've been waiting for him to finally age after 20 years. Right?
That fool ageless wonder, man.
And I'm going to say he's aged enough to pull off this role, I think.
Maybe. He's still on the younger side.
Yeah, they might need to gray his hair a little bit. But anyway, he was an amazing Obi-Wan, especially a young Obi-Wan. I think he pulled off the role perfectly. It was announced, obviously, he is going to come back as an original series coming to Disney Plus. That's going to be amazing. We've talked about The Mandalorian and the first trailer. Obviously, Jon Favreau is in charge of that. Who Iron Man, Marvel, I mean, pick a thing. Swingers. Favreau is Lion King. Favreau's phenomenal, and I love him. And everything he touches is. I wish I was him. Can I say that? Can I just say that?
Yes, because he has a great life.
Yeah, he's doing okay. Let's see what else we have here. They brought out the cast for the prequel, like I was saying. Oh no, I'm jumping the gun. They also brought out Taika Waititi is going to do the voice for the IG droid, which is the bounty hunter droid with the head in the Mandalorian trailer. IG-88 was the one from the original. And this is going to be IG-11, I guess. And, which I love. And Carl Weathers, is going to be part of this as well, which I can't wait to see what he's going to play because I love me some Carl Weathers. It makes me happy that he's even there. Seriously. And the actors for, the prequel for the Rogue One is happening. Obviously, Cassian Andor, that, he's coming back, and Alan Tudyk, as I said. Diego Luna and Alan Tudyk are coming back for that, which is amazing. There's no name for the series yet, but what was funny is I guess they said it was going to be K2, K2 Furious, a Cassie and Anders story. That was the joke on stage, which I thought was funny.
Love it.
The Clone Wars is coming back, as we said in previous shows.
Waiting for that one.
And that is coming back, and it is headed Disney Plus early next year. And obviously, Anakin Skywalker, Padawan, and his Padawan Ahsoka Tano is coming back. And that's going to be awesome. And that is going to be in February of 2020. And what else do we have? The last thing was... No, that was it. Wait, something else happened. Oh, it's just talking about Disney Plus. So, dude, can I ask you, what are you most excited about from what I just announced before I get into Marvel stuff, Star Wars wise, for Disney Plus?
Mandalorian, period. Right. It's the only reason why I want it. And if they don't release the entire season day one, I'll be pissed.
They won't. They've already said they won't.
Not watching that until the whole season's out.
So you'll be a month 2 adopter of Disney Plus? If they do one a week, dude, think about this. If they do one a week, it's probably not going to be any more than 10 episodes. I'd say 8 to 10 episodes. It's not going to be a full deal. Especially they'll probably be 50 minutes apiece, is my guess. I think within 2 months, you'll have the whole series.
Okay. So
you just want to binge it.
I just want to binge it. You're right.
Yeah, I got you.
However, 3 kids getting Disney Plus.
Yeah. That's a win.
Right,
See, I did that because
like,
3 kids. Win. Yeah. See? Yeah. You win.
You
they win.
See what I did there? No? T-Pain sings that song.
All right, man.
Yeah. Let me throw this out there. Okay. What if each week the usual turns their time over to Disney Plus and the Mandalorian does a reaction episode for each Mandalorian?
Oh. Would you want to do that as a Patreon exclusive?
Well, I mean, I'm just a guest co-host, but I do think that would be very well done for you guys, for you and Will to work on. And then obviously you have the SWTOR community that is going to be heavily watching this show as well, assuming. I also know Will with 1L, who's pretty much Mandalorian.
Right.
I would be more than happy to say a few things about it.
Here's the thing. We're gonna hash this out. We're gonna figure out the logistics of this. I say you and I.
Yeah.
We record a side gig. Just the Mandalorian. Reaction show Mandalorian. Done. It's happening.
Wow. It's scheduled. November 12th.
Write it down.
Episode 1.
And the cool thing about it is if we could, I don't know what day that is. What is the 12th of November? For the love of God. I'm already looking at my schedule. November 12th. It's a freaking Tuesday. Perfect.
Oh, I know, right? Because I'll just plan my vacation to see you on that day.
Or, hear me out.
Yeah.
Whether you do that or not, since the Tuesday we usually record Just Keep Writing.
Oh, shit.
We do reaction show for the usual. And then we record our show.
Did we just...
We just did it.
We just...
Yeah, we did it.
If you guys...
It feels good.
Couldn't tell. That was creative genius working without the genius knowing.
Right. And depending on how much I cut out of it, I'm not going to cut any of it. It's going to be magical.
Oh, no, I love it. If you guys don't want to hear my Star Wars opinions, though, do please let me know, because I know they're not very mainstream for a lot of it, such as Kylo can be redeemed. Everyone hates me for that. I just don't believe
it pushes my buttons.
I don't feel like he's personally done enough. I think he's had help on every stage. And the person that pushed him towards the dark side was Luke the entire time.
My justification for your side of this is this. He did not kill a bunch of younglings. Okay? Like his grandfather killed a bunch of baby Jedis. Okay?
And an entire order.
And then an entire order. And then he was also redeemed at the end. Now, there was a lot of time that has passed, of course.
That is my argument to the difference between the two.
And that is the difference. You have so much time passed to be like, oh man, I was an ass. I should not have killed all those kids. Maybe. And this is like the same idea. You lock someone up. And if you take the metaphor, he was locked in the suit. right?
Mhm.
And he did his time. He took the helmet off, obviously, to look at his son in the eyes, realize his errors. Obviously, he realized it before that when he killed the Emperor, takes the helmet off, released him from prison, and redeemed. I don't know if Kylo can turn around after what he's done and be redeemed, but we'll see what happens.
So what you're telling me is the death of his father far outweighs than the death of innocent children.
No. What I'm saying is Vader had an actual, they both had a hand. Well, your theory aside, I'm going to say they both had a hand in the death of these people, but
Okay.
Vader killed millions of people.
Okay.
Okay. Kylo had a decision to make when he was standing there on that catwalk with his father. Do I let my father die? Do I kill my father and embrace the dark side? Or do I let him live and be redeemed? That was his redemption moment for his time frame. And he chose to go to the dark side.
But what you're saying is Anakin didn't have that redemption moment until he was an old man?
He had it when he was looking at his son in the face. He had the choice. Think about it. He had the same choice that Kylo had, did he not? He looked at his son in the face, and he looked at the Emperor. He looked at his son. You can go to that frame. He looks there, he looks back, he looks there, he looks back. Then he picks the Emperor up and chucks him in the thing. Okay? Kylo had the same moment, yet he chose to not chuck his Emperor in the bin and to kill his father.
Go back to...
Oh, here we go. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Episode 2 of speaking Yoda's famous line. What does Yoda say when he's analyzing Anakin, right?
What does he say? Something about much conflict I see in you.
Sorrow brings pain.
Reckless. Yeah, something. All kinds of
his
stuff.
whole,
His whole little thing. Yeah.
His awesome line where he's like, this leads to this leads to that. I can't remember. I'm going to go.
Wait, episode 2 or episode 5?
Episode 2.
You're talking about Empire Strikes Back, where he says, hate leads to anger, anger leads to hate leads to suffering. Right? That is from episode...
Yes.
That is from Empire Strikes Back, episode 5. You're talking about episode 2 of the original trilogy.
No.
You're not talking.
No. This is in Phantom Menace. Excuse me, episode 1. It is repeated there as well.
Okay.
So, going back to that. This was, Vader's almost predestined. That was almost always going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Ever since he first stepped foot onto that ship, everyone was like, whoa, Qui-Gon, what are you doing?
Right.
He was like, hey guys, I met this cool kid. He's off the charts. Check out this beacon. He builds shit.
Right. He made C-3PO.
My whole thing is he had 60 years of bad choices, and he was still redeemed. Redemption at the end. And to me, honestly, one good deed is not enough to redeem you, but I think he did see the error of his ways more or less.
But one good deed to save millions, after killing millions, he decided to kill this one person in order to save billions more. Possibly, right? But I'm saying, what my point of that is if you're a young kid and you do something stupid, how long do you sit in jail before you realize that you did a stupid thing, right? You know why you're in jail, but how long until you feel bad about it and want to work towards making that better? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Kylo has had the time, because he's all the conflict and all the stuff that he's dealing with. How long?
But I don't think he's committed the same atrocities, though, on the same level.
He is not. No, not on the same level, but he's been the instrument of a force like the First Order, which is killing hundreds and thousands of people and doing atrocities across the galaxy. He is an instrument of death in that sense, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like Vader was, he was basically a symbol, if you will.
But what started Vader on his path to the darkness? The death of his mother.
True. And the death of Han Solo.
No. What started Kylo on his path to darkness?
Yeah, the
Luke trying to kill
stupid
him.
Luke stuff. But he didn't try to kill him.
Right. Oh, don't even.
Okay. I love that conversation because that is I saw it this way, you saw it this way. It's a perfect balance of what actually, and I think that's why Rian Johnson did such a good job, because he framed that in such a way to where, like, wait, who's right? Is Luke lying or is Kylo lying? Someone is lying. You want to say it's Kylo, but
because of all the bad things he's done.
Right. But both stories are valid and they both saw it from a different perspective. Right.
But I can almost guarantee Kylo growing up didn't hear about how evil his father was. Mm-hmm. He heard about how powerful of a Jedi he was and how even though he went to the dark side, he came back.
Right. You're talking about his grandfather. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. This is, dream theory. Luke is the reason why Kylo went to the dark side, because
absolutely,
one, his parents forced him to go train underneath Luke. His parents were not encouraging of him accepting Darth Vader as his grandfather and stuff like that, right? He's a moody teen. He hates his family. He's just going to go and do it. Luke gets scared as shit, goes to, like, stop him on something, whether it's he tries to kill him or he, something bad happens. I don't know.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
I do. And I 100% agree with you that Luke is the impetus for what Kylo has become. We still don't know what
the truth of it,
the entire story. We don't know what circumstances Leia and Han sent Kylo over. We don't know what state the child was in when Luke got him. We don't know what state Luke was in when he received that child. Good. You know what I mean? And so there are moments there where we still don't know, and I think that's what JJ is going to. Hopefully JJ is going to flesh out that storyline and be like, okay, this kid was broken. Luke tried to save him, and instead he killed the new Jedi Order, and this is what happened. Or Luke really screwed up. He really screwed up because of where Luke was at that point.
I like the Luke really screwed up because he was infallible. He's always been infallible.
Which is why Luke sacrifices himself in The Last Jedi, is because he's giving himself up for all of the mistakes that he has made. And he looks at Leia at the end of that movie and it's just like, I know what I've done. This is my way of making it up to you for essentially destroying your son. Right? And I like that as a story way more than what we're thinking is happening.
To me, that ties into the scene where Han dies, because how else is he going to complete his transfer to the dark side? He's got to kill his dad. Mm-hmm. Han knows. I feel like Han's smart enough. He knows this.
No, he's not stupid. Yeah.
But even Han's like, you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
Boom, lightsaber.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's just like,
100%.
And then he's still having trouble all through the second episode in the saga of actually accepting the dark side.
Yeah.
And then he goes and kills his own leader.
So, and so you can look at that as, okay, so why did he turn on Snoke? Did he turn on Snoke to take his place? Which is what a Sith would do. A Sith would kill the master in order to take the place. And he turns around after doing it and saying, "Come with me, Rey." And Rey's like, "Oh, hell no." Right? So where are the dynamics? Where have we lost Kylo? And is it all Luke's fault? Yes, I think it's all Luke's fault.
I effing hope so.
And
this son of a bitch showed up for 5 seconds in the first movie.
And if you want to get crazier, is it Obi-Wan's fault? Is it Obi-Wan's fault for leaving Luke when he did? Right? No. Was he the right mentor for Luke?
No, yes? He was the only mentor.
All right. So who's the only mentor for Kylo?
Luke.
Did he fail Kylo? Did Yoda fail Luke? Because there's the dynamic there too, because they come back to it in The Last Jedi 2, where Luke is talking, and honestly, Luke, I still think, hasn't figured out what the hell Yoda is trying to teach him. And he's standing there, and he strikes, and the lightning strikes, and Luke is still flabbergasted at what Yoda is trying to teach him. He still can't be taught. And I think that's why he's a terrible mentor and why he fails Kylo.
Agreed.
So Obi-Wan, good mentor. Yoda tried, failed because Luke sucks. Luke tried to be better, also sucked, failed Kylo. Kylo, dark side, now trying to just find somebody to teach him. Right?
Yeah.
Snoke failed him. Snoke was weak. But who is behind Snoke? What's next? The Emperor, that's the top. So you go to the top. You go to the best of the best and you say, teach me. Right?
Yeah, but the issue with that is there's only supposed to be one Sith Lord and one apprentice.
Indeed. The rule of 2 is in effect.
The rule of 2 is in effect.
So where is Darth Maul?
And why in the ass does the rule of effect only have the dark side and the Jedi Order can be whatever they want?
Well, don't get me started on that because I have theories. I'm a dark side guy myself.
That's what happens when you start killing your teammates and coworkers.
Exactly. All right, man.
Saturday Night Live did a skit where Kylo Ren went as an undercover boss. When
dude, Adam Driver was the host?
So freaking funny.
I know, I need to go back to that.
Can we post that in the show notes?
Sure, man. Throw it in there.
Yes.
So
thanks for entertaining my ideas.
So the last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here and record something else. Marvel announcements at D23. They're going to do 3 announced, Marvel shows. Oh, before I forget, and there's no link in the show notes to this, so shoot me. Ryan Coogler came out and announced in 2022, we are going to get a Black Panther 2. And I want to cry now.
Why is it too far away?
Because they already announced all this other stuff that's happening before.
I don't give a shit about that other stuff. Take me back to Wakanda.
I just want to go to Wakanda. I know.
Because it was Endgame.
I hear you.
Where they're back in Wakanda. I'm just like, I want more of that world. Granted, it's selfish reasons. Because I'm
preaching to the choir.
I have a novel with a similar setting.
Yeah. My point is Black Panther makes me so happy, and I have to wait several years for it to become a thing that I'm happy about again. That makes me sad.
Very sad.
You see where I'm going with that? All right, buddy. So other than that, Marvel announced Disney announced on Disney Plus, Marvel is doing a Miss Marvel show, a She-Hulk show, and a Moon Knight show. All been announced. That's amazing.
And they're also doing the Eternals.
And the Eternals movie. Is
it a movie or a show?
Eternals is a movie.
Okay.
As far as I know.
I misunderstood that one.
Yeah. That one.
I'm actually pretty pissed about the casting on that.
Well, they brought the cast out. Kit Harington is playing one of the Eternals. He was obviously Jon Snow from...
He's not playing an Eternal.
Oh, who's he playing?
He's playing some non-Eternal person that's heavily involved with the team.
Okay, that's fine. I don't really care.
I'm pissed about it. I want him to be a superhero.
Oh, well, yeah, I think he was a superhero in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I said he was kind of a king twice.
He's king of the North.
Temporarily till he got locked up. King of Westeros.
One of the things I'm not going to talk about this week because we're over time and we have other things to do, and I'll talk about this when Will comes back on because I'm sure there'll be more news out of this, is what happened with the Sony Disney breakup over Spider-Man. We'll talk about this.
That's an easy one.
What's that?
That's an easy one.
Well, it's money. It's all money.
It's money.
Yeah. And we all know it. But the point is we'll see what else shakes out between now and the next time we record, and we'll chat about that next time. So, my friend, I got to tell you, I appreciate you very much. I flabbergasted at one of your theories, but other than that, I think we as storytellers, have really put out there some good stuff for what we want and hope for old episode 9 and some other stuff. And I cannot wait till the internet tells us how wrong we are.
I'm okay with being wrong. Completely okay with that.
I don't care about that. Yeah.
Like, no one out there is going to offend me. Go ahead and threaten me. Don't care. Can't find me.
Can't find me.
Take consideration, the storytelling aspect of things. Like, maybe I'm too biased in my own opinions.
But these are the stories we want to see. We're talking about stories we want to see based off of what we've already seen.
I've been waiting for frickin' Finn to become a damn Jedi, and everyone's pissing me off.
Right? You thought that from the first trailer when he's holding the lightsaber. I thought he was going to have force powers. I would still like to see that happen, but I don't think they're obviously going to go that direction anymore. But anyway, here we are.
Right? Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. If you guys don't like my opinions, I do apologize, or my theories.
No one cares. No, dude, I love your opinions, and I don't care what my listeners think because they're
He's
wrong.
lying. Don't believe him. He's lying. We talked about what you guys would want to hear on the show. Everything's scripted at this point.
We had a whole list and there were spreadsheets. Yeah, no. Could you imagine if we did that much work? Anyway.
Yeah, I actually did a spreadsheet for other podcasts and I never followed it.
Okay. All right. So thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And find us on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Nick is at Bright Inks. Catch us on all your favorite podcatchers. Like and share us. Support the show, audibletry.com/usualpodcast. And of course, the best way to do it is patreon.com/usualpodcast. Check Nick and myself out on our other podcast called Just Keep Writing, which we'll be recording episode 19 this week. And if you're interested in the writing world or want to join us in those conversations, we have a Discord channel, so check us out on our social medias, of course, and it's Just Keep Writing. All right, man. Anything else you have to say before we go?
If you guys are going to tweet at me about this episode, all my theories, please use the hashtag #TheUsual.
Yeah.
So I do know where the hell you guys are coming from. Because if I get a random tweet, I'm just like, whatever.
Right.
Like, okay, Google, spying on me again. Let me know it's you guys.
Hashtag all your hate tweets to The Usual Podcast. Tag me, tag Nick, and let's keep the conversation going. And please have a fun. And we'll see you all next week.